Week 10 of the NFL season just passed by, which means it's time for another NFL injury report video. And this week there weren't too many injuries, but the injuries that did occur were very impactful, and some of them were also insanely gruesome. So today I'm going to be talking about the biggest injuries from Week 10 of the NFL season. What's up everybody, it's AC Analysis, and like I said in the intro, today I'm going to be talking about the biggest injuries in Week 10 of the NFL season. And like I said, there weren't too many injuries this week, but there were some pretty impactful ones to their team and some pretty gruesome ones. But before we get started, if you guys enjoy consistent football content, remember, liking and subscribing would be really helpful. We're on the road to 100 subs now, and we're almost at 75, and every sub helps. And I make one of these videos every week, so tune in for next week's one. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. Before I get started, it's actually time for the shoutout of the video, and the shoutout for this video goes to Luca D412. He makes NFL content, and you guys should really check him out. And I noticed that a lot of you guys are commenting on the video, hoping to get a shoutout. So if you keep commenting, I promise that you will eventually get your shoutout, and we can help all of our channels grow together. So remember, if you want a shoutout, comment down below, and if you keep commenting, you have a really good chance of getting your channel shouted out. And with that being said, let's actually get into the video. The first injury I'm going to talk about is to an offensive lineman, and that is the Rams' aging offensive tackle Andrew Whitworth. And in the Rams' win against the Seahawks, Andrew Whitworth had an MCL injury and is expected to miss the rest of the season. And Whitworth has been in the league since 2006, and he's always been one of the most solid offensive linemen. And at one point, he was easily a top 3 guard or tackle in the NFL. He spent most of his year with Cincinnati, but in 2017, he moved to the Rams and really didn't slow down production. In 2019 and 2020, he's seen less playing time purely because of the fact that he's 14 years old now, but he's still a solid offensive lineman, and the Rams clearly need to use his help since they do face against some pretty difficult pass rushes in their league. So this injury will affect them, and honestly, I expect Andrew Whitworth to probably retire at this point. The next injury I'm going to talk about is to John Brown. And in the Bills' insane loss to the Cardinals, John Brown in the fourth quarter had to exit with an ankle injury and did not return. It's not really confirmed how much time he's going to miss. He might miss a week, he might miss 2. We're not really confirmed yet. All we know is that the injury will slow down his production. And John Brown was actually having a solid game. 6 receptions, 72 yards, and a long of 31 yards. And he also was having a solid season. The game before that, he had 100 receiving yards, and he was injured. He's been injured quite a bit this year, but Brown is still a solid number 2 receiver and still a solid deep threat to complement Stefon Diggs. So if he's out, it will affect the team, but the team almost won even without John Brown in the fourth quarter. And can I just take a second to talk about that DeAndre Hopkins Hail Mary catch? That's better than almost any Megatron catch I have ever seen. That is absolutely incredible. The next injury I'm going to talk about is to the Panthers starting quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, and in their loss to the Buccaneers in the fourth quarter, Teddy Bridgewater had an MCL injury and did not return for the rest of the game. And an MRI scan showed that there was no real damage to the structure of the MCL or the ACL. The only problem with him really was some swelling there. So he's doubtful to return for next week, but he should be back for the week after that, which is unfortunate because, I always knew Teddy Bridgewater was a good quarterback. I really liked him when he played in Minnesota. Then he got that really gruesome injury in Minnesota, went to the Saints, and then he played for the Saints for 5 games while Breeze was injured, played really well in those 5 games to sign a massive contract with the Panthers, and this year has been a little bit injury plagued with him. He's played every single game so far, but he's had some major injury problems while playing them. And the thing is, when Teddy Bridgewater plays, he's solid. So far this season, he has 2,500 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a 100 quarterback passer rating. You might be thinking that that's not too impressive, but honestly, that's solid stats for a quarterback who really hadn't been a starter in many years. So this injury will affect the team, but luckily he won't be out for too long, and he might not even be out for any time at all. The next injury I'm going to talk about is the first injury to a defensive player on our list, and it's another Carolina Panthers player, and that is their star cornerback Donte Jackson. And in their loss to the Buccaneers, he suffered a turf toe and did not return for pretty much the entire game. He barely even played. He just had 2 tackles and 1 assist. And Donte Jackson, if you look at his stats, besides his toe injury, he's had a really good season. He's missed 4 games because of a toe injury, but the thing is, when he's playing, he averages an interception per game, and he averages about 6 tackles per game when he's healthy. So Donte Jackson, I knew he was going to be great this season, and he is one of the most electrifying players in the league. 2018 as a rookie, he came in 4 interceptions, 2019 3, and then 2020 he already had 3 interceptions. and he's been playing really well for the team. But the Panthers are reportedly thinking about benching him. And the reason that they're going to bench him is so that he can heal his toe, because he's had the same toe injury practically all season. So they might bench him for a few games to try to make his toe feel a little bit better, since really it isn't working out that well for him. And honestly, if I was a Panthers fan, I would feel bad about it, because he kind of is your best defensive player. But I believe it is the right decision to make him sit his toe down for a little bit, so he won't injure it even more and miss even more time, since he is probably the best defensive player on the team. The second to last injury on our list will probably be the most gruesome injury of this video, and that is to the Baltimore Ravens tight end Nick Boyle. And many people don't know Nick Boyle, but he's a very good asset to the team. He's a great blocking tight end, and he really helps Mark Andrews play better. But Nick Boyle, in their loss to the Patriots, which I'm really happy about, by the way, in their loss to the Patriots, he had a gruesome knee injury when he was going up to get a catch. He caught a ball for 4 yards, and then it was almost like Dak Prescott's injury, but it happened to his knee. And he is out for the year, no doubt about that. Even John Harbaugh said it. He is out for the year. But it's unfortunate because coming into the year, the Ravens had 3 really good tight ends, and mainly Nick Boyle and Mark Andrews. And now 2 of them are out for the year, and only Mark Andrews is left remaining. And this team really did rely on Nick Boyle, since he would help get the running game going for Lamar Jackson. And he wasn't the flashiest tight end, but he was one that really did help out the team. So this injury out for the year will just set the Ravens back another step. And after their loss to the Patriots, who knows what's going to happen to them for the rest of the season. The final injury I'm going to talk about is the injury that I'm sure most of you guys know about, and that's the injury to Drew Brees. And in their win against the 49ers, Brees actually left in the fourth quarter because he said that his ribs and lungs were hurting. And it turned out he had 3 broken ribs and he had a punctured lung. And he's supposed to be sidelined for a week. And this is a big injury for Brees and the Saints, because people might not be talking about it enough. But Brees is having a really good season. 2,200 yards, 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 110 quarterback passer rating. And keep in mind, this is all without Michael Thomas. So Brees has even shown that he can win without Michael Thomas, and the Saints are having a good year. But with Drew Brees going to be sidelined for at least a week, I'm expecting probably 3 weeks. With Drew Brees being sidelined for that long, expect Alvin Kamara to get the ball. Kamara's going to get the ball, and here's a bold statement. Last year, remember when Drew Brees had his hand injury, and then Teddy Bridgewater came in and went 5-0 and then got a giant starting job? Teddy Bridgewater was a quarterback who was a starter, and then he had to prove himself as a backup quarterback to get another big contract. What if that happens with Jameis Winston too? He was a starting quarterback, and now he has to prove himself on the Saints again. This could be Jameis Winston's opportunity to show that he is actually a good quarterback, and his opportunity to really shine. So it's not the end of the world for the Saints, since they still have a good defense, and they have Jameis Winston at quarterback, who's better to have than like a Matt Castle, but I do believe that the team will struggle. But we'll see, maybe Jameis Winston plays really good for the weeks that Brees is out, and then next year signs the big contract with another team and plays really well like Teddy Bridgewater has. We'll see. With that being said, that'll wrap up this video. This has been AC Analysis talking about the biggest injuries from Week 10 of the NFL season. And I make one of these videos every week, so if you guys enjoyed that, liking and subscribing would be really helpful. We're on the road to 100 subs now, and every sub helps. And if you guys want a shout out to your channel, make sure to comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.